Hi, I'm Jennifer Yugo, the managing director and owner of Corvirtus. I wanted to take a few minutes to go over our current assessment result format for our screening assessments and all the wonderful ways that you can use it to not only just hire and screen, but also develop exceptional people. So what we're seeing here is the first page that you'll see in our screening assessments. So I'm saying screening assessments because we also provide development profiles that give you a wealth of information about a variety of different characteristics for leadership, for other types of roles. And these are more designed for hiring context, where you might have a lot of different candidates at play and are gathering information on known qualities that are predictive of success. So this assessment result would appear in your applicant tracking system. There would be an icon in your ATS, if you're using one of our integrated partners, that would indicate how the candidate performed overall. And that could be strongly recommend, recommend, or do not recommend. We also use other words and overall result categories. So one that is also very popular shows degree of match. So if the assessment is one factor that you're using in combination with others, or if you're giving this to a lot of incumbents and current employees that might be moving into leadership or moving into new roles, it might make more sense to talk about degree of match. You might be sharing this report with them, and using that language allows you to do that a little bit more easily, and also reflects that it's one step as part of a broader process. So, in either case, so there are three overall results, and we calibrate them the same. The lowest category, that weak match or do not recommend, means that the candidate, based on our statistical analysis and all the data that we have available, is likely to struggle in one or more meaningful areas of performance. Recommend or moderate match means that they met all standards. They still may have some areas for growth, but they are likely to perform, live your culture, and stay and satisfy all the requirements of the assessment. And then strongly recommend means that they were above average on everything. They still may have some areas that they're closer to average, but on the whole of all the scored areas of focus, they were above average. Then after that, in this assessment, you can see that there's a wide variety of categories being measured. One differentiator is that we're able to use your own language. So if you, for example, call resilience grit, or have some great cultural language or operational language around resilience, or leadership potential, we can use that language, and we can show whichever categories represent the competencies and the qualities that you're wanting to measure for this candidate. And then you can see here, it's very easy to understand where the candidate is strong, what strengths they're going to bring to the table, how they might elevate performance overall, as well as what areas they might require a little bit more coaching or a little bit more development in, to direct your attention to the interview. But even beyond that, if they're hired, how to best support them on the job. So for this candidate, I can see that open-mindedness, having that flexibility, that curiosity, the willingness to explore new ways of thinking. That might be an area that they might just need a little bit more coaching in, or might not go to immediately when tackling a problem. Similarly, logic and reasoning was something that they were just a little bit relative to the other areas, a little bit lower on. And then, of course, I can easily email this result with a web address to anyone. This would pop up my default email provider, and I can print or save as a PDF. All right, so then I move on to the performance profile. So from this first page, I hopefully got an idea of if I want to move forward with this candidate to the interview, to having a conversation. Then I can move over to the performance profile and understand them a little bit more deeply. What's wonderful about the performance profile is we have a broad spectrum of ready to implement assessments with batteries and reports that are ready to go. But this can again be easily tailored. So the if hired suggestions can be tailored to specific things that might be most helpful if someone is, has an area of opportunity or is average in open-mindedness or logic. What would you want them to focus on in those first few days of the job or the first few months of the job? And all of this could also be tailored to share with a new hire as well. We also want to make sure, and this is a leadership role, that we're making the most of their first 90 days and capitalizing on strengths. So, the first 90 days is a critical window that candidates have when they're hired to either show themselves or, unfortunately, face a lot of struggle. So, we want to set them up for success by showing them how they can maximize their strengths. And that's exactly what this is doing, is providing suggestions here if they're strong in verbal ability and resilience and mental horsepower, explaining how they can put those into practice right away to gain the confidence of their team. The next and final tab is probing questions, and this takes the two lowest scoring areas or number of areas of your choice and provides behavioral related solid interview questions. I personally have used this for an initial meeting or a phone screen to take the what might be the two biggest areas of vulnerability and fully vet and understand those more deeply before we move forward with the hiring process. But this also just provides a wonderful tool to be able to standardize and have a set process and way of going about and evaluating candidates. So, in short, in just a couple of minutes here, I covered the overall assessment result. Again, going from do not recommend or weak match to strong match or strongly recommend, giving you a great visual. You can imagine your busy hiring manager comes in, maybe they're new to the team, new to doing hiring. They're going to be able to glance at this right away and understand exactly what they're looking at. We can also provide normative information or actual scores. You can see how this is illuminating and showing strength or mid-range. We can provide normative values there. So first glance understanding, again, if you have a recruiter or someone getting this at the last minute, they can immediately run with it, and also easily tailored to your competencies, your competency framework, your culture, and also handing off to the new hire if you would like, and if it's prepared in that way to support their success even further when they're hired. Thank you for this opportunity to share the assessment result with you. We'd love to talk with you about any questions you have if you're currently using our solutions or if you'd like to in the future. And with that, I will conclude this video, and please let us know if there's anything we can do to support your success.